Ну чё, всем привет. Мы сегодня немножко проанализируем, что у нас из новинок будет, поэтому мне прямо очень интересно, и начнется это все, я так понял, с Resident Evil. Давайте же посмотрим, заценим.
Basically, Resident Evil 9. Basically, set 30 years after the city was nuked to shut down the zombie outbreak from Umbrella Corporation.
Ого, это тот самый Raccoon City?
As an FBI analyst who decided, hey, investigating a haunted hotel where my mom died, that sounds like a solid weekend plan.
Grace, keep moving.
Блин, она похожа немножко на Марию Silent Hill 2 ремейк. Все это заметили? Чуть-чуть.
Would not be a game if
Ух
it
ты.
was a solid weekend plan, so we know that it's not a solid weekend plan. A solid weekend plan for you is catching up on old gameranx videos you haven't watched because statistically you're probably not subscribed. So first, I cannot wait to play it. At number 9, it's Grand Theft Auto 6.
О, шестая GTA-шка.
This is the game. We're talking multi-billion-dollar budget.
26 мая 2026 года. Уже скоро.
He's gonna want to release the same day as Grand Theft Auto 6. We're headed back to Vice City, but this is a little bit different.
О, да, старая добрая Vice City.
Times set in Leonida, which is
Ух ты.
basically a pretend Florida in the Grand Theft Auto universe. It looks like we've got dual protagonists, probably swappable in the same way the GTA 5 ones were. But also, it seems like they're going to be together a lot of the time because they are together. It's a Bonnie and Clyde thing. There's been a lot made about that. But what matters to me more is just the gaming cultural juggernaut in the, I guess, near term.
Любопытненько.
It's a ways off. It's not a massive ways off. Rockstar told us it's coming May 26, 2026, and it's going to hit midnight local time worldwide. So whatever your midnight is, that's when it's launching for you. Unless you set the time and date and maybe use a VPN. It is going to be landing on PS5 and Xbox Series. No last generation stuff, and we don't see Switch as
Ну,
I would say a definite.
надеюсь, ребятки не посрамятся.
Infinitely more powerful than the original Switch. It's still at a much lower level than the other consoles. We don't have PC information. Leaks indicate it may not arrive until late in the year, 2026, maybe even 2027 or 2028, depending on probably a lot of different factors. But yeah, it's GTA 6 and it's fine. And number 5 is the Fable reboot. The
Ого,
mainline Fable games.
нифига себе.
12. It's being developed by Playground Games, who we know.
Fable, да ладно.
And it is running on the Ultra.
Уровень, кстати, немножко на Sonic Generations похож.
Now, in many ways, this is a bizarre choice, but it also seems like, I mean, this is a team that doesn't release stuff that doesn't work. Honestly, what I'm going to say is this is probably going to be a game that feels like old Fable with modern controls and looks like.
О, прикольно, прикольно.
That seems to be what they're going for, and I would guess they'll accomplish it because it's not like
Fable
is some
вообще сжег.
by today's standards. And to be frank, the level of interactivity that they achieved in Fable, although not quite up to what it promised by Peter Molyneux when it was originally unveiled, is actually a lot more interactivity than a lot of the stuff that we see today because, let's be frank, a lot of games have achieved much higher fidelity.
Больше интерактивности обещают. Блин, но
I have a feeling
в оригинальном Fable его более чем хватало.
obviously have my fingers crossed. This
Интересно.
is coming out possibly next year, but there are rumors that it is going to be delayed to 2027, not due to problems, but because this is a very large project. So hopefully next year, but either way, it's going to land on
То есть
Xbox.
еще пока неизвестно, когда выйдет, да?
And number
Печально.
3 is the Elder Scrolls 6. We don't
О!
have a lot on this one. As of
Шестые свитки.
we know it has exited pre-production and entered active development on the Creation Engine 2, which, longtime gameranx viewers would know my opinion on that. People have been piecing together rumors because that's really all we have. The front runner for where this one is going to take place is Hammerfell. There's apparently going to be a Skyrim Grandma cameo, which is really cool. I would like to give you a lot more information than that, but it would just be speculation at this point. And honestly, I don't know what I could speculate on in terms of Bethesda game that doesn't seem either really obvious or impossible to guess. In all likelihood,
Проще говоря, пока ничего не известно. Просто ждем. Ждем, верим в легенду.
a Starfield style launch where they were exclusive on the Xbox platform for a while, and we'll probably see it on PS5 after. When? No idea. Probably 2027, 2028. And number 3.
Долго ждать.
Blade. being developed by
Ну,
Arcane.
посмотрим, заценим.
Here's the thing with Arcane. They're fantastic. They know what they're doing. They gave us Dishonored and Deathloop, and I mean, Arcane Austin is who gave us praise specifically, but obviously they were following the template that Arcane Leon, the one that's still around, created. And to be frank, I don't really want to get into how disappointed I am that Arcane Austin doesn't exist anymore. So I'm just going to talk about how cool this game could potentially be in Arcane's hands. So you don't have Blink, you don't have the Outsider to give you any other powers, no runes, etc., but you're a vampire, and you're like the coolest
То есть
vampire that's ever.
реально будет игра по Блейду.
You're gonna see a lot of very
Ничего себе.
stuff in terms of story, 'cause these
Блин,
guys are
круто.
storytellers. I think they don't get enough credit for that. Dishonored gets a lot of praise for its mechanics, but I like the story a whole lot in both of them.
О, Dishonored, помню его.
I've said this in many other
Только в
videos.
первой части дополнения играл. Надо бы вторую, кстати, пройти.
It's how, and man, did they do how good. I'm super excited for the Blade game. I love the idea that it's basically going to be probably an immersive sim Marvel game. Marvel has a lot of great IP, but I think a lot of the time what it actually is, which is narrative storytelling, isn't really taken into very much account with
А
the
тут
video.
они что подготовили?
Literally what these things are, like comic books, which have existed for many, many decades. It's narrative storytelling. So I think Arcane is probably a better fit for a Marvel game than a lot of other ones. And a lot of the reason that the Spider-Man games, for instance, are great is that they treat that element of the story with respect.
Блин, самая последняя классная игра, которую я помнил по Спайдермену, это была Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
Marvel's Blade is coming to PC and Xbox Series, but we do not know when because it entered full production at the end of 2024.
А, это получается все одна игра.
And number two is
Любопытно. Ладно.
I actually refrained from mentioning this in the previous
О,
because
а это что такое?
Insomniac Spider-Man games worked, I think, partly because they respect what comic book stories actually are, which is stories.
Эх,
And they're making a
Питер Паркера, походу, не будет.
we don't really have any information on this
Печально.
game. All we have to go on is the fact that Insomniac made the Spider-Man games and said this one is going to be more quote-unquote mature. What we have to think about is how well Insomniac utilized the Spider-Man character, which is very well. Mechanically speaking, the web slinging is incredibly enjoyable in the two Insomniacs.
То есть они сделают упор на персонажей, да?
Making the power of the hero work. Now, I hope that means they are taking note
Вау.
on that old X-Men Origins Wolverine game.
А, старые X-мены.
That game took the Wolverine mechanic very seriously, and if they know what's good for them, they'll use that as a template. Because although there's a lot of things about that game that aren't really that great, the gameplay itself.
Помню, была игрушка Wolverine's Revenge по фильму, кажется. Вообще хардкорная жесть.
It's not absurd speculation. That is a very well-revered game, and it provides a decent template. Obviously, a lot more is possible now than was then, so there's a lot that could be done. We don't have a date, but we know it's not going to happen until at very least March 2026. I wouldn't be shocked if it's quite a bit later, but whenever it does come out, it is coming as a PlayStation 5 exclusive, though I would imagine,
Блин.
like Spider-Man games, it will come to PC later.
Будем ждать на PC.
Number one, it is Witcher 4. It has been a long time since The Witcher.
О, Ведьмак 4.
To me, the game still holds.
Хотят сделать.
I absolutely love The Witcher 3. There's graphically some definite.
Интересно, какой он будет.
It's showing his age, but in every other way, that is a game that was way ahead of its time. It feels very cinematic even now. And this is kicking off a Ciri trilogy. Honestly, I'm pretty happy about that. I love the character of Ciri. I know.
Что-то я, походу, много упустил, связанного с Ведьмаком.
Can we play the game before we
Ну, интересно, интересно.
Ciri is a great character. Geralt's not gone. But what is gone is the CDPR tech. They've moved over to Unreal Engine 5. And honestly, I think
Unreal Engine 5.
because
Значит, подкачается графоний.
launch, these are talented developers that really know what they're doing. Let's just use the really high quality engine that everybody knows how to use and it's easy to get support for. They're doing what they need to be doing in terms of what everything looks like. They have an absolutely beautiful 60 frames per second tech demo running on a standard PS5 with nanite foliage.
Ну, у
simulation.
Unreal Engine 5 есть и другая проблема. Если они типа не оптимизируют это,
Best case scenario.
тогда выйдет так, что он будет дико лагать даже на пятой плойке.
Confirmed for
Хотя это вообще будет зашквар.
PC and Xbox Series, though.
Но прикольно, прикольно.
Put this at number one. It's
Вообще офигенно. Любопытно.
a quick bonus.
Такой свежий воздух, скажем так.
Battlefield 6, which
О, Battlefield 6.
we've lamented that series a lot, and the
Пишите в комментариях, кто помнит еще 2142 Battlefield,
stuff in particular. It's
ну и Bad Company 2.
some influence from the finals in terms of destruction. They're talking about doing macro and
Нифига себе.
which can, and this is a quote from them.
Да, далеко батла ушла, вижу.
Mid-match. I like that a lot because I like me the finals a lot. Anybody who watches knows how much I like the finals. Did I bring up Battlefield 6 because I wanted to say I hope it's like the finals? I don't know. It's a massive upcoming AAA game that I do want to play a lot, though. This is one we don't have to wait as long for. It's coming October 10th to PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. And that's all for today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think.
Любопытно. Ну что ж, ребят, в общем, ждем классные игрушки. Я отобрал специально те, которые наиболее будут подходящие, наверное, мне лично по душе. Ну а вы пишите в комментариях, что вообще, чего бы хотелось вам увидеть. Может, какие-нибудь новые игрушки заценить и все прочее. В общем, всем спасибо, кто зашли. Увидимся в следующих видео. Всем пока.